What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald from Wagertalk.com at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guy Austin Wang with me, awang_HTX. As always, typically on Fridays, this is when Austin comes through. Lot of data that we go through when he's on here, and a lot of syntax on our killer sports and all that stuff. But man, two game sixes yesterday. Got two game sixes today. Man, it's been a good ride. I mean, the playoffs have been pretty good so far, profitable. Yesterday I went 1-1, but throughout the whole playoffs have been pretty profitable. How's everything going with you?
Everything's going well. Yesterday the Celtics and the Sixers had that thrilling game. I was on the under there. Game 6 unders, as I'm going to go into in a little bit. I also backed the Celtics. Jason Tatum really had us in that first half, but glad he came through in the fourth quarter and got hot at the right time, even though you make the argument that it shouldn't even gotten to that point if he was playing up to par in the first half. But happy it worked out. Happy we get a game 7 there. And yeah, like I agree with you, the playoffs have been going really well. I think all the narratives and all the all the angles that we're looking at have materialized and have come through for us.
Yeah. No, so Trey, thanks for coming through here. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. The unders, you're gonna talk about game 6 7 unders. Well, actually, let's just go straight into it. Let's go to the Knicks Heat here. I'll bring up my screen and go and talk about the breakdown you have going on this one.
Sure. Yeah. Before I get into the straight breakdown of the Heat and the Knicks, just talking about game 6s overall, and just historically, we've seen that game 6s are much lower scoring. The defense tends to be better. It's an elimination game for one of the teams. The pace tends to be slower. Fatigue sets in. They've already had 5 games in the series. And then familiarity. There's already all adjustments made on both sides. So both teams are familiar with one another. So all of these contributing factors contribute to a high percentage of unders in game 6. So just to give some numbers behind it, game 6s have gone 66, and okay, you got to pull it up right there. I mean, they've been hitting at a 60% rate in the history of the data. I mean, this goes back to like 2002, 2003. And I think what we're seeing here is with the Celtics and the Sixers game, game 7 has opened up at 204, which is essentially a 10-point adjustment from where it's been running throughout the series. And even in game 6, it opened up at 214.5, and it got bet down to 210.5 by close. But you'll see that the books just aren't making that same game 6 adjustment that they are for game 7, and I think they should. The market eventually gets it to where it needs to be. I think all the game 6s have opened up close to where it's been running, and then it's been bet down. That was the case for the Heat and Knicks game here. It opened up at 209. I grabbed it at 209, and the day of here, it's getting bet down to 207.5, and a move that I agree with. If you just take a look at, let's run a table here. Could you just put like R, uppercase R, and then parentheses series game? Here,
Actually, do you have it and then just put it in the private chat?
Yeah, I will do that. You plug that syntax in. Right. Basically, it'll just be a table that shows us the average points per game by the series game. So you could see it runs, and this is in the history of the SDQL database dating back to 2002. But you see games 1 through 5 kind of run at the 200 to 202 mark. Game 6, you see a significant drop down to 195, and then of course game 7, you got that big 10-point drop.
Yeah. I brought it to more modern season, and that still holds true. Look at game 7, dude.
Yeah.
I already took the game 7 under for Boston.
Same here.
As soon as it happened. I know it's really low, 203.5 or 2. I got it at 203.5, but 203 now. But I know typically game 7s go under pretty often. So I took it right away.
Yeah, I think it should be in the 190s.
Man, that's crazy how it goes down dramatically from 6 and 7.
Yep, exactly. So kind of relating it back to the Knicks Heat game, I think you got 2 solid defenses, great defenses that play at a slow pace. The Knicks were 26th in pace in the regular season. Heat were 29th, and I think that style of play is going to be the case in this elimination game. see the Heat turn on the clamp. Jalen Brunson and Quentin Grimes, they both played all 48 minutes. We've heard that time and time again over the last couple of days. So, fatigue's going to be an issue. The Knicks aren't getting very consistent contributions outside of Brunson. So, I'm expecting them to double team him, put a lot of pressure on him to give up the ball and force someone else on the Knicks to beat them.
Yeah.
I think that, like I grabbed it at 209. I'll still play it at 207.5. I think it should be around 206. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it close maybe 206.5, 207. That's just my opinion there. So I'm taking the
I'm with you there. The other thing too that I was looking at, I know you said the full game under. I was going towards the Heat team total under. The few things that we talked about. So I shared on Twitter the Scott Foster stats, right? The Scott Foster ref stats. In the playoffs since 2016, in Game 6 is 6-1 for the road team, right? That's to the Knicks. 4-1 against the spread for the team that won Game 5, right? That's goes to the Knicks too. And then some of the guys from that were following me said, "Oh yeah, Heat are 0-10 with Scott Foster reffing their games too." And I looked at those games; those are 2-8 against the spread. So everything kind of points from a reffing aspect, right? If you want to play, with that with those types of numbers, but points towards the Knicks. The other thing too is this one here kind of plays off of yours. Right? The Game 6 home team. But if you include Game 7, right, just anything from Game 6 and 7, and then later in the playoffs as well. So round 2 or greater, 76, 45, and 3 to the under as well. So that's even a little bit better. I know yours was like around 40%, a couple percentages better. And we also see that if you look at more the current season, like the more recent seasons, a big cluster of under. So it continues to be in that direction. I can only agree with you, but I also added that the factor of the Heat really. I feel like even though the Heat have been covering every single game, they really haven't been shooting at a high percentage. And we know that the Knicks are going to come out here defensive minded, right? Obviously they're going to be a little bit tired. You had Brunson and Grimes playing 48 minutes each. Brunson's probably the key guy. We don't know how he's going to come out after a 48-minute game, but he did play like 44 in the game before and still balled out, right? So, maybe he's just that guy that doesn't get tired. And if that happens, he's gonna be key because, for the most part, another factor of why the Heat have been winning and covering games is because of turnovers. And Brunson is that guy that doesn't turn the ball over at a high clip. Everybody else, I think, like he had like maybe one turnover in the last game in 48 minutes. Like that's ridiculous, right? Yeah. And then everybody else had like combined for like 18 or 17 or something like that. So I think, in my opinion, there is a situation where maybe the Heat, the Knicks win or cover this game, but I'm more likely looking towards the Heat to struggle offensively. So if they do their job defensively, they'll end up winning, right? But still staying under their team total. If the Knicks come out pretty strong, they'll maybe go over their team total and win the game, but I still feel like I know what the Heat's gonna do, and that would probably they're probably gonna be around the 104, 105 range, and their team total right now is at 107.5. I think I got 107.5 or 107. So I think the Heat team total under is the one that I like a little bit more. The full game under is something I was looking at too. That was sort of my way of pivoting, because I also think that I don't think the Heat are going to cover. So that's my way of pivoting and just kind of condensing it into one bet. Anything from a prop perspective or anything like that?
I don't dive into too many props, but I was looking at Bam Adebayo's rebounds earlier, and it was set at 8.5, and I think he's been rebounding at a really great, and just my cap of the game in general, seeing that it'll be a low scoring game, high defensive intensity, a lot of missed shots, and a lot of opportunities for rebounds there. I felt like Bam Adebayo over 8.5 rebounds was potentially a good look there.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at the other piece of it too, or going back to the Heat team total under, the Knicks defensive rating has been one of the best in, like, just right behind the Lakers as far as the remaining teams in the playoffs, right?
Right. Yeah.
I just feel like their defense is going to show up no matter what. and it's all about what they're gonna do offensively. That's gonna be the outcome of this game. If they
Right.
can score, if they're gonna be able to score, then yeah, they're gonna win and cover. If they struggle offensively, like they have been for for the majority of the series, then they're gonna lose. But defensively, they're gonna be there, and also their pace is one of the lowest in the playoffs as well. So I
Yeah,
don't know,
adding
man.
add the fatigue in there. Yeah, I mean, can't see them running the whole time.
Yeah,
They'll be
and
wanting
we
to pace themselves to keep themselves fresh for the entire game.
yeah. The other thing about Game 6 and Game 7s too, just psychologically, right? One team has a 3 series lead, 3-2 series lead going into Game 6. One team is trying to close out. The other team is trying to fight for their playoff lives. You
Hmm.
would think that psychologically, it's more it's going to be more physical, right? They're going to focus on defense, right? And
Yep.
then also the pace is going to be slower because they want to control pace, and they also want to limit the amount of turnovers they have. So all of that, even if they were a fast paced team, like if you look at the Lakers and Warriors later, when even if they do play faster normally,
Hmm.
these situations where every single possession is more important, those games tend to be a little bit slower. So even when the Knicks are already a slow team, imagine it being a slower paced game than what they've already been doing. So, and we kind of saw that with the Celtics and the Sixers yesterday
Oh
too.
yeah,
So,
for sure. Hmm.
the under full game, man, I think maybe we've just talked myself into taking the full game under as well, but I've already taken the Heat under. So,
Hmm.
um,
I might join
anything
you
else
there
on
a
this
little bit
one?
on the Heat under as well. So I mean, I think you made a really good case for it. Even if you take a look at the series Game 6, the home teams have not been performing very well against the spread in that aspect. So
Yeah,
supporting everything that you just said, yeah, I may join you on that Heat team total under. It's in line with what I'm thinking too.
I like it. All right, let's go on to the next one here. The Lakers and the Warriors. Shoot, it's all the opposite way. One second. But go ahead and talk about the what do you see in this Lakers Warriors game?
I don't have a bet on this one yet. I just all the popular narratives are siding with the Lakers here. The Lakers have been excellent at home. Um, the Warriors obviously can't seem to get it together on the road.
Yeah,
Um, and I think we looked at some ref trends, or I'm sorry, LeBron James in a closeout game. That seems to be very successful as well. Everything's from a popular narrative standpoint is pointing to the Lakers. Just something about the Warriors is just like they're like cockroaches. They just won't go away. They won't die. And I've been waiting for this dynasty to fall for a long time. So from a fan perspective, I like the Lakers. From the narratives perspective, I like the Lakers. It's just, man, it's hard to bet against these Warriors. So that's sort of my take there. I like the under for the very same reasons we've discussed ad nauseum already, but it's already been beat down pretty hard. So I'm not sure if I'm going to want to enter in at this point, getting a bad end of the line. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have a bet out yet, but what do you think, Ronald?
So I took the Warriors team total under. Um, yeah, like you said, there are a lot of narratives on this one. This is the one that I think Chris put this in our chat. Chris
Mm-hmm.
Buchanan put this in our chat. The LeBron James as a home favorite when his team has three series wins. 17-1 straight up, 12-6 against the spread, 14-4 to the over. I didn't even notice that, but I mean, typically, like we were just talking about, game 6s and 7s typically go to under. I'm glad I stayed off of the full game, but I did take the Warriors team total under. We just know
Mm-hmm.
here's a few things, right? We know that the Warriors struggle on the road, especially offensively, right? But if you look at the Lakers this season in the postseason, equals Lakers, fuck, and postseason, I think that's it. Right, in four straight up, 7-5 against the spread, 7-5 to the under. But if you say that they're at home, 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread, 5-1 to the under. But the one thing to know about that under, the one game that went over, it went over in OT.
Yep.
They went only over by 1.2 or whatever it is on the team total. So that's the reason why. And look how big of a gap most of these the delta points allowed is, right? The team total under for their opponent has been going under by like huge margin. other than this one that went into OT. But if we look at that game specifically, the Grizzlies scored 7 in OT, so they would have been under by about like 5 or 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like the combination of both this, how the Lakers do defensively at home, versus how the Warriors do on the road typically, I had to take the team total under on the Warriors side. And the good thing about that is you kind of stay away from the side, right? Like you said, there's narratives on both sides here for the Warriors and the Lakers. Lakers, how they do at home, Warriors struggle on the road, but also the Warriors typically are good from, playing from behind in the playoffs as well. So I stayed away from that, but I know that I combined with thinking that the 6 and 7 games go under, Warriors struggle offensively, Lakers defense at home, all pointed me towards the Warriors team total under.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's that one game, was it game 4, where the Warriors had the lead in Los Angeles and ended up giving it up, but because of just terrible shot selection. I mean, the Lakers defense, excuse me, was so stifling. I mean, they were rattled every time they got an inch of space. Either Curry or Thompson put up a jumper from like 30 feet out, and terrible shot selection, poor on the road. So I think all that supports the under look here.
Yeah. I don't know. I know a lot of people that I trust are on the Lakers. I want to get there with them. I would definitely like support them or whatever, but it's more so I just do trust that the Warriors struggle offensively. I don't the part is, can the Warriors limit the Lakers? That's the other piece, right? If they show up defensively, then yeah, they can win, but still stay under their team total. Like similar to like why I thought the Heat was gonna go under their team total. Just I don't know what the Lakers are gonna do offensively, so I don't know. I don't know from the side perspective. I want to say the Lakers. I would lean the Lakers, but more so, I just feel like the Warriors are gonna stay under their team total.
Nice.
All right, that's the 2 NBA games. Did you have any baseball today?
No, not anything that I can coherently speak about at the moment. I haven't, I ran some of my systems, but I haven't had a chance to write down any notes or cap anything. But I'm open to talking about some of them with you.
Let me see what I have for baseball today. Oh, here it is. Sorry, 1 second. I gotta get my screen back up. All right, so Padres Dodgers. I actually got this yesterday at 8.5 last night. I think it's at 9 now.
Yep. You played the over?
I played the over.
Awesome. Well, good. I'm with you there.
I got it at open at 8.5. That's a good thing about having the model now, dude. Like you get run it early and see everything before it happens. So I was able to get 8.5 last night. It was a little bit juiced. But obviously 8.5 is a little bit better than 9. But I still would take, obviously I would still take the 9 because I think they're gonna go a lot higher. Main reasons why, right? We got Snell and May are starting. I'm pretty sure that hasn't changed. Yeah, Snell and May are starting. Both of them, I think the advanced stats that I was looking at point towards both of them still having room for more negative regression on their side, especially Dustin May. So I think, and then both on the opposite side, both teams offensively, they suggest that they're both underperforming. So I usually when that happens, I just take the over or whatever it kind of points to. Those are ways that I kind of identify where the plays are going to go. But I know, didn't you say you had something on the over as well?
Yep. I had one of my systems on it, and it kind of revolves around a divisional game off some revenge, like a double revenge spot there that yielded a over on the Dodgers and the Padres, and just for the very reasons that I was looking at the pitching stats, seeing some negative regression for Dustin May, and fading Blake Snell, and yeah, that's why I like the over. I saw the steam going towards the over there, so I grabbed it at 9 even money early this morning. Actually, late last night.
Here's another thing that kind of points to the over. Since 2020, when the pitchers is basically the pitcher matchup is the exact same as it was in their last game. Does that make sense? Like the same pitchers playing each other, the same starting pitcher matchup in the previous game. They typically go over because they've already seen the bats, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's one thing to look at. Also, if you look at loss, we'll say loss, and then now they're the road favorite.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, they've already seen the pitchers already. That makes total sense. That the next
are they not the favorite no more? Did they open up at favorites yesterday? Let me just double check. No, they weren't. All right, so they were still dogs. All right, so we take that, right, and we go SRA equals 0. This also pointed towards the Padres and to the over again. So if we look at now the number's not matching up what I saw yesterday. Hold on. SRA
still looks good to me though.
I don't remember exactly what I looked at yesterday, but it pointed towards the Padres and to the over. But you get what I'm saying, right? They see each other the same matchup, the same starters. It typically goes over because they've already seen what they've given up, right? So a lot of you see a lot of ROI here on the over there, and that's why I took it.
Makes total sense. I totally agree.
And that's the syntax for it. Just to break it down, since 2020, it's been pointing towards the over. Has been going over consistently this season as well. If you see a little bit of cluster of overs here, so going with it again. Obviously, it's gonna be active again tomorrow. So even though I don't have a show, it's probably gonna be the way that I go to the over.
Yeah, jot that down. That's a good one for the viewers.
You can, yeah. There's a lot of ways to break it down. I swear it was 0 yesterday, but all right. So if we go SRA equals 0. Points to the Padres again to the over at nearly 70% rate. That's again, that's going to be active tomorrow. There, I think there was another one where it was like the road favorite. See, now they're not the road favorite. All right, so, but yeah, if you look at road favorites in that same situation, it's really profitable for them. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, that I wanted to drop for NBA and MLB. Any last comments here?
No, yeah, my best bet will be on the under for the Knicks and the Heat.
Let's do that real quick. All right, so let me take that screen off. All right, so for you, best bet is the Heat Knicks under.
That's right. Well, right now it's at 207.5. Still like it there.
207.5. What would be like the lowest you go?
207.
207.
I have it at 207
because it was already at 2. It opened at 209.5 or 209.
Well, I got it at 209. And it was pretty close to open.
Okay.
So.
All right. So me, I'm gonna be on the Heat team total under, the Warriors team total under, and then obviously the one I just talked about, the Dodgers and the Padres to go over. I got it. I did get it at 8.5, but 9. I would still take it at 9. 1, 2, 3. That's it. That is it. And I'll probably ride with you on the full game under on the Heat Knicks.
We
looked at very similar stuff. If I was to lean on a side for that Lakers Warriors game, it would be towards the Lakers. I think that's the way to go. Were you talking about the over tomorrow? Yeah, today and tomorrow, Jake. The query that we looked at is active on the over for both of those. All right, quick show today, Austin. Not a lot to talk about as far as the NBA because we're winding down and we're getting to the point where we're not gonna have NBA every single day anymore, which sucks. But at the same time, we need that break. But yeah, so with that said, guys, that is the end of the show. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button here if you like what you see or hear on the show. And also, if you're on Twitter, share the show as well. We hit the like button, retweet, whatever it is to get the show out there a little bit more. And always, I always got to end like this. So whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time. Peace.